In this video, I'm going to go through how KVB software, or the Kolmorgen Visualization Builder, can automatically handle recipes for you. It's a great built-in feature. You don't have to do any extra programming. It's all done through built-in screens where you can choose which variables or tags are going to be a part of a recipe. You can preset different recipe values through like a built-in spreadsheet view within Kolmorgen Visualization Builder software, or you can also edit or make new variables right on the HMI panel after the project is deployed. You can either import and export them from one panel to another. And this is very helpful because instead of having to program this yourself or having to do it through the PLC, the KVB can do it automatically, and it automatically has built-in screens, pop-up screens. Use the built-in string-based keyboard in order to have new names and new recipes. I am opening a template program that is within the PLC Open 2-axis templates in the KSIDE software. Just because the recipe is already added, it will be quicker for me to show. You can certainly add a new recipe from a blank or from scratch KVB project. So once this is finishing open, I'm going to scroll down the Project Explorer, and you'll see that recipes are already added. This is just showing you can have multiple recipes. If you were starting from scratch, you wouldn't have any. You can go to the Insert section and insert a new recipe. So now if I click this, now I'll have 3 recipes down in the Project Explorer, and any of them you can right-click if you want to rename to give it a more descriptive name. So I'm going to click on Single Axis Moves Recipe. This is the one that was actually pre-done in this template program. You can see from this main Tags Configuration tab, there are a list of a number of variables or tags that are used in this recipe, and so you can add or delete them. And also if I go to the runtime data, this is where you choose, or you can preset a number of recipes. There are only 2 right here. You can certainly add or delete if you want to add more or remove one. So this is a list of all the variables or tags associated with this recipe, and then you can give specific constants that you assign to those variables whenever you load this recipe. So this is a nice screen to actually go more into detail on recipes themselves, why they're useful. So when I load the high-speed recipe, for instance, it would automatically set 0 to absolute position for axis 1, 1000 to axis 1 XL, and so on. So instead of having to manually or one by one write all these tags, when I load this recipe, all 8 of these tags will all get written to at once. And this is actually a small amount of variables for recipe. You can certainly, it's even more efficient if you're having 50 or 100 variables all tied to one recipe. And you're not limited to creating them all ahead of time. And here we'll show you there are actions that you can create new sets of recipes right from the HMI screen. So this is just setting up the recipe. So I'm going to show you in this template program. If I go to the single axis move screen, there are these buttons to load and save recipe. So we have some built-in actions tied to them. Also just quickly show you those 8 variables or tags in the recipe are all tied to these objects. So these 8 objects would allow the user to manually change one by one the variables. So this would allow them to make changes if you want to create a new recipe right from the HMI screen. If I click on the Load Recipe button here, and then the Actions tab, so right now the Load Recipe action is tied. Once again, because you can have multiple recipes in this project, all with different sets of tags associated with them. If you had multiple, you'd have to pick which one you want this button to work with. And then this third drop down is optional. You can even have the button tied to load or save a specific recipe. So right now we pre-created the high speed or low speed. But if you have none, then when you click the button, there will be a built-in pop-up screen come up, and the user can choose from all the available recipes. Similar to the save recipe, if you don't specifically pick a recipe to save to, a pop-up will come up and you can write over previously create a recipe or create a new one. And there'll be a full keyboard pop-up so you can type in a new name if you need to save a new recipe. I'm going to click over here to show under recipe all the other options. So there are other built-in actions that you can do. You can export or import a recipe with a CSV file. There is a USB port, or on the HMI panels themselves you can save or open a CSV file. So if you had created a number of new recipes on the HMI, you can move it between one machine or one HMI to another. Or if you had created more in an offline mode, because it's easier to do it on your computer than right from the touch panel, you can import that as well. You can also have a delete recipe option as well, which could be useful if you've added a number that you no longer use anymore. So now I'm going to actually just run this project and show you how it works, how powerful it is. I'm going to go to project, hit the run button. I already have the project running in the KAS simulator, so that will actually talk Modbus and show you how the values of these variables or tags will change just with a couple button clicks. So once the simulate HMI pops up, I'm going to click to the basic axis motion screen. There are some default values from the PLC right here. I can manually click and change values one by one, but it's much easier, efficient to click load recipe. Now if I click low speed, for example, load, a number of these values changed all at once. If I go back high, they're changed the other preset values. Now once again, maybe if I figure out a new widget, new optimal settings, I can go and change them manually right from the pop-up screens on the HMI, and I can click the save recipe button. Brings up another pop-up screen. I could either click to write over my low speed or high speed that I previously created, or I can click in the recipe name and a full keyboard will come up, and I can type in a new string. Now if I click the road recipe button, this new recipe that I created is available. So it's just showing you how easy it is. You don't have to be a computer programmer or work with databases at all. It's all through nice built-in screens and tabs, but it is a powerful tool how you can, with a push of a button, change the value of many tags all at once. So thank you for watching this video. This is part of a series. If you're interested in more other features of the Kollmorgen visualization software, there are other videos on KDN pages and the Kollmorgen YouTube channel.